said life is fair. Standing tall, got no cares. It ain't gray, it's black and white. Why can't we appreciate we ain't the same, hell ain't that great? Don't you know it makes the world go round? Grab your neighbor's hand and don't let go. Gotta let those feelings show. Peace, happiness, justice for all. Your skin color belongs to you. Your acronym's LGBTQ. Well, I was taught that kindness is free. Work a 40-hour week and he can't sleep. Breaking my back, trying to make ends meet. Honest pay, doing a job I hate. But it pays the bills, helps my kids along. Weekends here, another week is gone. Live to see another day. Well, things have gotta change, there's gotta be a better way. Yeah, things have gotta change, there's gotta be a better way. Huh? What do you think?
Nice.
Nice.
I like
what?
Man.
I like that, and I like the meaning behind it and the thought that went into making that song. You know what I mean? Especially with our current situation, think about how much they're currently spending on the situation that we have at hand and how it's going to be screwing our kids, our grandchildren for generations, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it's not just us that's being affected by this.
And you know, the sad part is it will affect us a little bit, but the generational effect is significantly more. It's exponential, right?
Yeah.
We're going to feel a little bit of the pain, but our children's children and children's, they're going to feel a huge punch in the freaking face.
Yeah.
This is going to be bad.
Yeah.
So we've got to do the right thing, man. There's got to be a better way for us to all kind of get our crap together. Has to be.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. We really, truly got to get our crap together, you know. And the one point I make each and every day, you know, is, you know, it's okay to protest, but you know, when you start rioting and looting, you're only hurting your neighbors.
That's right.
You know, and it kind of takes the whole Black Lives Matters and puts it right in the top of the garbage can, because you're ruining it for the people that really want to make a difference.
Hey, you know, I tell you, we had a pretty significant thing here in Louisville, Kentucky, as I told you, it's one of our largest cities. We had a young lady get, she was shot by a policeman. Her name is Breonna Taylor. One of the things you'll hear on the news a lot. They're still rioting down in Louisville. Yesterday, my mom came into town, and you know, sad for us, my father passed away a few weeks ago, and that's why I had to delay the broadcast. But my mom came in to visit here this weekend. We went to Louisville. My daughter is there. She's a third-year med student. We went out to dinner. We're driving around. And in downtown Louisville, all of the stores are boarded up because people are throwing bricks and rocks. And, you know, that just, to your point, Don, it defeats the purpose. Everybody has the right to your opinion. How you express that is the way you do it is very important. You can do it peacefully and get your point across. And you can do it ugly and not get your point across and then be kind of guilty by association with a bunch of stupid, right? You cannot demonstrate in a violent or some other manner, because it totally takes away from the purpose of what you're trying to protest on.
Yeah, you just lose support, you know, and it's kind of crazy.
You lose the sight of really what is your main purpose? What are you trying to get across? What are you trying to teach people about the opinion that you're trying to get them to understand? If you're trying to do it in a manner that's violent and, you know, looting and rioting and shooting and beating, that just brings in a different level of crazy. And I personally, those folks ought to just be hammered. I mean, the cops ought to drop their hammer on them, and it would be a tough thing to do, but I think, you know, as long as you're protesting and you're doing it in a way that's respectful and you're doing it peacefully, everybody's got the right to do that. It's kind of like I tell my kids, I always come back to kids' stories, I swear to goodness. Told my son, Jared, he didn't like what was being passed down one day for some type of discussion we had. I said, you can't do that. He goes, why? I said, listen, if you don't like it, you have a voice. We go sit down to the table like adults, And as long as you can talk like an adult and bring your point across, I'm willing to listen. The minute that it goes from a respectful conversation to you complaining about it, then there is no discussion. And with all of our children, that's been a really good thing. And Jared, God bless his heart, should have been a lawyer. One time I said, hey, you can't do that. He goes, when do you go to the table? I said, and he goes,
Putting it right back at you, Dad.
He's like, Jesse is older than me. And I remember this many years ago, we had a similar scenario and you didn't have a problem with her doing that. And I thought to myself, well, I'll be damned. That's true. I said, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I withdraw. You are correct. You can go do that. I did not look at it that way. And you would have thought that he won $100 million in the Kentucky lottery. It was so funny.
You know, like this whole thing, though, it's a different time for our children, Robert.
Yeah.
It's not like when we grew up. It's a total different time, and life is dangerous out there.
Yes, it's facts, man. It's true.
You know, and like here in Canada, we've got this big thing going on here with one of our artists, Mr. Paul Brandt, and it's called Not in My Town, and it's all about human trafficking. So, you know, there's so many problems with our world and our generation of kids being brought up. Man, we can't help but be parents and try and protect them.
Yeah.
And what are we teaching our children if we allow this kind of crap to keep going on? You know, like the police now, I believe, are some of them are actually afraid to respond for what's going to happen if they're just doing their job. And it's scary.
That is scary, right? I mean, you know, and
I don't believe, and I believe as a society, Robert, we've given the cops way too much power. And we've done it. You know, up here in Canada, they can just pull you over because they don't need probable cause or nothing like that. And, you know, I think the whole probable cause thing needs to come back.
Yeah, that should not be the way that it works, right? I mean, the police are there to be a support for us, the people, as protection, not to be a menace. But, you know, I do think it does come back. Enough power, the right number, the balance, that's always a tweak and dial, right? It's like on your EQ. You're always facing trouble. You're dialing it in. But what has to happen is it's come back to what I said before. It's we have to have enough respect for one another that we're not out doing stupid to start with. And I'm telling you, even Don, and I might be just totally crappy about it. If I got pulled over for no reason, I know, given the situation that the police are faced with on a daily basis, it is probably in Robert's best interest to get out of the car and do what the cop asks. The minute you cross the line to be a jerk or be disrespectful to the man in blue or whatever colors they are, then you have just created a scenario that you're never going to win. That's just the way it is.
True.
And my kids and I talk about this all the time about how this person got pulled over and they got, you know, subjected to searches and hauled to jail. So, yeah, well, if you look at the video after it comes out, most of the time that person had complied or listened to the police, they probably would not have been putting themselves in that particular scenario. You know, could have totally changed the outlook. It's kind of like we have to also de-escalate ourselves. It's not the police have to de-escalate us. They're doing what they think is the right thing, and for right, wrong, or indifferent, they've pulled someone over or they've arrested somebody. It is best to comply and do what they ask because they're faced with a lot of crazy. And I'll tell you, I've got a couple of buddies that are on the police force. One's a retired Army colonel. He's hardcore. Still got the buzz cut and all, but at the end of the day, this guy's like, look, I go up to a car at 2 a.m. I don't know who's in the car, what they got in the seat. He goes, I'm a little bit on edge all the time. He goes, if I go up to a car and somebody's got the window down, say, so, officer, hey, I apologize. You know, what do you need? He goes, I immediately get off of my edge and I realize, oh, this guy's probably, you know, he's screwed up, made him miss a stop sign, didn't see it. Oh, he's running over it. You know, I think the way that people are approached really does matter. And, you know, there's an old saying, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Yeah.
That's got to be about the best saying I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
And I got to write that down.
I can attest to that because I was caught doing a little bit over the speed limit one time. And when I say a little bit, I was well over 50 kilometers an hour.
142 is a little bit?
Anyways, I was caught and The cop pulled me over. I stopped right away, pulled over, rolled down the window, and he says, "Do you realize how fast you're going?" I said, "No, but I'm sure you're going to tell me real quick." And he says, "Yes, I'll tell you. You were doing 50 kilometers over the speed limit." I said, "Really?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't know this piece of shit could go that fast." And he started laughing. So he said, "You got your papers and stuff." So I gave him my papers. He comes back. He says, "I don't want to catch you doing 5 kilometers over the speed limit ever again." I said, "Okay." And I looked at the ticket. He gave me a ticket for doing 5 kilometers over the speed limit.
See,
because I was joking about it, and I was,
right.
Right away, here you go.
You owned it, right?
Yep,
You took accountability. You wasn't nice. I think that was bull crap. I owned it. I didn't realize it was going over, but if you said it was, probably was.
And then just to tell you how much of an arsehole I am, I fought the ticket, but I forgot to show up to court. It was a $25 ticket. I forgot to show up to court, so now I got a guilty verdict against me. My insurance went up by $400 that year.
See,
So he got you one way or the other.
That was the universe slapping you around, saying, "You know what? Got you a break, and then you shat on me. Let me just make sure you remind that one for the next time."
That's right. That's right. So yeah, do what the cop says, and then pay your fine. That's
right.
Well, it just comes right down to respect is what it comes down to.
Yeah,
that's right. So
there's respect.
There's a funny joke that I heard the other day, and I love jokes. I'm pretty laid back dude. So this old guy was in this Corvette. He's driving down 64, which is our main interstate here. He's doing like 130 miles an hour, and a cop comes out and he blue lights him. He pulls over immediately. Cop comes up to your point, Andrew. He goes, "Sir, do you know how fast you're going?" He goes, "No," I said, I do not. He goes, "You were doing 135 miles an hour in this Corvette." He goes, "Well, I just got the car." He goes, "And to be honest, I didn't realize I was going that fast." He goes, "I'm going to give you a chance." He goes, "You tell me one reason why I shouldn't write you a ticket." He goes, "And I'm going to let you go." The old man thought for a second. He's probably 70 years old. He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "About 30 years ago, my wife ran off with a state policeman." He goes, "By damn it, I thought you were bringing her back."
Yep.
Cop said, "Get out of here."
Good Lord. So what has Robert got planned here for the next little while? Robert, you got some shows going on? I heard that you were able to do a few shows down there.
Yeah, we did a huge, really cool outdoor kind of a barn party, if you will. Gentlemen had about 50 acres of land. They had RVs in from all over the place and a big barn, and they had them marked off. Everybody had their mask and were social distanced and whatnot, and they had tents up in the field. So we went and played for about 4 hours, and that was a lot of fun. Just kind of getting out again. It's kind of weird playing. We played, now that's the second time that we've been able to play since, I think, early March.
Yeah. And you had you had a pretty packed summer planned.
Yeah, we had a huge summer, man. We were playing everywhere. We were hopeful, the state of West Virginia, the population's pretty low and relative to the land density there. And we're hoping that on September the 19th, we have a huge, it's called Small Town Throwdown. We're the headliner for that gig, and where they shut down the streets. They got an old, their Chamber of Commerce buildings made out of big blocks of coal. I have to take a picture of it, send it to you all. It is cool. So I grew up in that area. That's where the West Virginia part of me came in.
Right.
And so they asked us to come down and do that. And we're hoping that kind of goes through. And then that next day we'll be playing at a big vineyard here, an outdoor concert. So as long as the outdoor things can work, it'll work. But unfortunately the nightclubs here and the little honky tonks, they're still between 25 and 50% capacity. So they just can't afford bands and do the stuff that they do like they would with a full house.
Oh yeah, and you guys down there, you've kind of reached some milestones in the COVID epidemic, case wise. And does that scare you a little bit?
Our governor's done a pretty good job. I mean, everybody gets sideways with him. I'm not a Bible toter. I'm a spiritual dude, and I get his position on the field. But at the end of the day, I think that if you've got to wear a mask, and I get it. I'm a data guy. The mask might not protect you from getting sick, but it could prevent some level of, blowing out.
Transfer.
It's the transfer. And me and my keyboard player, Frank Conrad, love him to death. He's old school. He's going to be 80 in another year. And as I told you, he was the original keyboard player for the Marshall Tucker Band, it's awesome. He's great. He can play anything. But we were arguing, well, not arguing, I don't know, we were debating. And he's like, well, this isn't a pandemic because, the death rate isn't very big. I said, Frank, I said, listen, the death rate isn't why they call it a pandemic. It is the speed of which it's transferred that creates the problem, because it creates a big bubble on the medical systems that we don't have infrastructure on. And if everybody and their brother got sick, that's why it's a pandemic. I get it. More people have died from the flu throughout the world, and that's also not good, but that's the reality of what we live in. Cancer, heart disease, all this other stuff. I understand. I said, but look, wear your freaking mask. It is not that you are saying that you're not going to get sick, but it's how it works. And my old boss posted something on Facebook, and you guys appreciate this. It showed this dude standing in front of another dude, and he was peeing. And his pee was coming out of his zipper, and it was peeing all over the guy's shoe.
Yep.
And then the other guy, the next caption, is another dude peeing, and they're both peeing on each other. And the next of them, they shows them with their zippers down, and the pee is going down their leg. And the caption was, "This is what masks do for you." And I thought, you know what? That might register with some people because they just don't get it. It's not about, hey, it prevents you from being sick. It does prevent some element of the transfer in the air around the people that could potentially get sick. It's just doing the right thing. And if we all did it, coming back to the original thing, we all just kind of were decent human beings, I think we'd be in a much better place on a lot of different topics, to be honest.
Yep. No, for sure.
Oh, you ain't got that. It doesn't matter if you're down in the U.S. side or Canada. Sauerkraut. It's got to be the same thing. Like even here.
Well, I ran into it yesterday. Somebody freaking out about a mask. Yeah. I had somebody just yesterday freaking out. Two guys at the store. I was picking up parts for my truck, and two guys at the store behind plexiglass, obviously. Somebody else came walking in, and they said, "Listen, you have to have a mask in order to come in here." And he started freaking out, screaming, yelling at them, saying, "You guys aren't wearing masks." They said, "Well, we're behind the plexiglass." And he said, "Oh, you're friggin' magical plexiglass. Just put the friggin' mask on. Shut up. If you want to come in and support the business, come in and support the business. Put a mask on, pay your money, and
go back.
Get out." Yeah, you could be an asshole later. You don't need to do. It's not their policy. It's the government that has said that we need to do it. Just do it. Shut up and do it. We can't do nothing about it.
That's right.
Yeah. So.
It's funny down here.
Yeah, this whole damn pandemic thing is starting to drive me crazy. You just follow the rules, and just accept it because it's going to be the new way of life, and you might as well accept it. It's like everybody calling to defund the police. It's not going to happen.
No,
communities are not going to stop funding police departments.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's not in our best interest as a society. I mean, we worry about what's going to happen. Boy, if they ever did that, it would just be pandemonium, and it'd be freaking, it would be horrible. Mm-hmm. It'd be anarchy. It'd be everywhere.
True. But
if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would have been, running around wearing a mask, I might have to tell you you're crazy. But here we are.
Yeah, but you know what? The truth is there's data that says if we all did it for a period of time, it might be 2 months, 3 months, 4 more months, but a vaccine will come out. There's always going to be a strain of this particular flu now, so it's never going away. So we need to be aware of it. And this might be something that we have to do in certain parts of the year when everybody's sick. I tell you, I think I told you guys in my real job, I've been traveling to Asia since 1993. And out of respect for their fellow people, regardless of the country I was in, whether that be Japan, Taiwan, China, Korea, if they feel like they have a cold, they wear a mask so that they don't put their germs on you. That's their culture. That's the way that they were raised. So they don't see anything about it. And some people view it to be that we are being jerks. And, my kids, well, here's another good one. So my good friend of mine, he's an eye doctor. He's always telling his girls, I just want you to ask permission. Don't just assume I'm going to say yes. You ask. And the other day, he called him an ask hole. instead of an asshole. And so, to your point, Andrew, some dude the other day was saying something, and my wife said, "Don't be a mask hole."
Yeah, yeah.
Complaining about not doing. I don't know where she heard. I was like, "Well, that's pretty clever. I'd make T-shirts with that. That'd be good."
Yeah, for sure.
Has Kentucky gone back to school yet, Robert?
They are called NTI, which is non-traditional education. And what they're doing is basically Zoom meetings in their classes. So it's kind of a weird at high school. They're doing kind of college schedules from back what I remember. And they're doing like Mondays, class A classes, Tuesdays are B classes, Wednesday they go all day. And then Thursday are A classes, Fridays are B classes. So they're doing that. And my understanding is they're doing it through the end of September. And then depending upon the rates, they'll make some adjustments accordingly.
Yeah, because they're opening here in British Columbia on the 10th. And a lot of parents have some concerns about the whole practicability of it. Here in British Columbia, if you gather more than 50 people, they're starting to fine you. But then, people are saying, like, then you want to put 600 people in a school. So what's the difference?
And the reality is, these kids will touch, grab. They're not going to follow. I mean, hell, I have hard enough time having teenagers and young adults doing the right thing. I can't imagine like kindergartners and first and second graders. That's the way they are. Right? They're just wired that way.
Yeah.
This is just not going to happen. So it's going to.
That's it.
I know here in the States, we've had a couple of colleges that opened up and then they shut back down because even young adults in training can't do their things right, let alone, younger children that are just learning the ways of the world.
Yeah, the premier here asked college students and university students, please don't party this year. Could you do that for us? Because I'm sure that's why everybody wants to go to college, just to not party. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, I went to not party.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But you got one of them daughters there in medical school. She better not be partying.
You know what? That girl's hardcore studying.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. I'm telling you, I know she goes out because she shares her location with me, with Uber. So she doesn't drink and drive, which is good. So whenever she Ubers, she always shares it with me. And I'm be asleep at 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, Sis is getting in a taxi. I better make sure so I follow it because that's a weird type of dad I am. Make sure that, okay, she got out. All right, we're good. And I go back to sleep.
But even better, the respect that your daughter's showing to you, Robert, by doing that.
Oh, yeah.
That should be a slap on her back. She's enough respect to do that. That's great.
I took
what do you got planned for the future here, Robert?
So we got a few things going on, right? We've got the Small Town Throwdown. We've got two more releases off the album we have now, Simple Things. We're going to do in the fall a release after You're My Destiny runs its course. We're going to release Can't Win for Losing You. And then the follow up to that one before we go and release a new album will be She Took Everything But the Blame.
Perfect.
So you're going to do that one?
Expect them to be out.
Yeah. What's that?
When can we expect them to be out?
I expect Can't Win for Losing You will probably release sometime in early November. And then I do think She Took Everything But the Blame will probably be coming through around March.
What about the one that you just played today?
So that'll be a studio release. So we're going to be going into the studio here probably in December and January and laying down a new album. Right. And I think I told you before, the title track of that album will be Heroes at Home. Right. I've already got most of that song kind of laid down in my studio back here. And now I got to teach the guys all the parts. It's kind of fun doing this stuff at home as I've had some time. I'll sit down, I'll put the drum track down just electronically so I can get the time, the click track. Then I'll put the flat top down, then I'll do the vocals, then I'll put the bass, then I'll put the keyboard, then I'll put the lead guitar. Then we go back and we mix the drums in and do the harmony. So I've got an interesting version. I'll send it to you guys. You can give me your feedback, but it's 70% done. But this is one of those songs, I was watching a story, I'm crying like a baby. It wasn't the song yet, it was the thing that was happening. And, my son is in the Army, and he's a National Guardsman. And at the end of the day, my wife and I were watching. So every Sunday morning we watched the morning show, right? The Today Show on Sunday morning, and they were interviewing these group of soldiers who are coming into this gym. As they came in, the families were running to their prospective family members, and they cued in onto this one gentleman that came in with a woman, a little kid, and a baby. And the guy's like, hey, come here, your little one is up there. And the mom's crying, and the dad's crying. And here comes a microphone right in their face. And they're like, thank you for being a hero. This is fantastic. We just appreciate everything you're doing. And the guy grabs a microphone. He said, look, he goes, I haven't seen my baby. This is the first time I've seen my newborn. He said, the heroes are not the people overseas. He goes, yeah, we fight. We do our job. He goes, the hero is at home. He goes, my wife takes care of my baby. It gives me chill bumps. My wife takes care of my baby, my son, the yard, taking this one to here, to there. She works. She's paying bills. She's worried about me. He said, man, he goes, the heroes are home. He goes, the heroes are not overseas. And I took that, and I'm sitting there, my wife and I I'm just bawling, like, damn, that is heavy right there. Because I never really thought of it that way. And I got this song in my brain where I could see this woman getting up every morning, getting her kids up, getting them fed, getting them off to school, and then she puts on her makeup, goes to work. She's doing nothing but thinking about her partner that's overseas, fighting somewhere. And then it goes to the chorus, and then it comes back into a flip. Now it's the gentleman or the soldier getting up every morning, putting on their boots, going on their patrols, doing what they do, thinking about the person back home. And it's kind of a back and forth between how you can envision these two worlds being so far apart, yet so close together. And it's beautiful. And then it's kind of got a really neat chorus, man. It's a really good song. That's one of my favorite ones. So that'll be the title cut. I might do that one. Just for the hell of it.
Man, you gave me shivers.
It's good. I'm telling you.
Well, I had in the back of my head the story he was telling about. It just gave me shivers just to think about it. Just coming across, just thinking about the reality of that statement.
Yeah, it's quite profound. It really is. I'm gonna do that song.
So this, Robert, just take over whenever you want.
I've never heard this song. This has never been played ever out. And the only people who's heard this song is my mom, my dad, and my wife.
You heard it here first, folks.
You guys are getting the first piece.
Again.
Well, we're honored that you will play it for us.
Heroes at home. Our clock rings. It's 5:30. Another day all alone. She gets her kids up, fed, and off to school, where she puts her makeup on. And all day long he can't help but wondering if she is okay. Every night before she goes to sleep, she gets on her knees to pray. Watch over him, watch over us, defending freedom and all the things he loves. Keep them safe from danger, let them know they're not alone. While they're there, in our hearts they'll be the heroes at home. Sun starts to rise, he's up real early, puts on his boots, goes on patrol. It's another tour duty, he's a long, long way from home. All day long he can't help but wondering if home things are okay. And every night before he goes to sleep, he gets on his knees to pray. Watch over them, watch over us, defending freedom and all the things that we love. Keep them safe from danger, let them know they're not alone. for them and those that gave their lives. Watch over them, watch over us, defending freedom and all things that we love. Keep them safe from danger, let them know we are okay. Cause this flag still stands for freedom. God bless the USA. Watch over them, watch over us, defending freedom and all things that we love. Keep them safe from danger, let them know we're not alone. While we're there, in our heart there will be the heroes at home. Heroes at home. God bless the heroes at home.